Today's story is about two sisters who went to Thailand to enjoy their holidays but never came back alive. Before we dive into today's tale, if you are someone who enjoys stories that are strange, dark, and mysterious, then you have definitely arrived at the right channel because that is exclusively the kind of content we create. All right, welcome to Life in Frames. Let's begin today's story. The sun was setting over the turquoise waters of the Andaman Sea, painting the sky in hues of orange and purple. On the pristine sands of Koh Phi Phi Island, Thailand, laughter echoed from beachfront bars. For most, it was the beginning of another paradise evening, but for two sisters from Canada, this beautiful setting was the first step into a mystery so dark and bizarre it would shock the world. This is the story of Noami and Audrey Belanger. Noami, 25, and her younger sister Audrey, 20, were college students from Quebec, bursting with the excitement of youth and adventure. They had just finished a grueling school year and, as a reward to themselves, had embarked on a grand, month-long tour of Southeast Asia. For 3 glorious weeks, they had backpacked through Vietnam, creating memories they thought they would cherish forever. Thailand was to be the magnificent finale before returning home. On the evening of June 12, 2012, they arrived at their hotel on Koh Phi Phi Island, tired but exhilarated. Noami, the responsible big sister, unlocked the door to their room. She held it open for Audrey, who followed, cheerfully wheeling in their suitcases laden with souvenirs and sundresses. The room was clean, modern, and blessedly air-conditioned. The travel of the day, the flights, the ferries, the tuk-tuks, had finally caught up with Noami. All she wanted was to collapse onto the crisp, white sheets of the bed. But she was an experienced traveler now. Her first ritual was always the same. She walked over to the bed, pulled back the sheets, and inspected them meticulously for any signs of bed bugs or dirt. Satisfied that everything was pristine, she finally let herself sink into the mattress with a sigh of relief. Audrey, though equally tired, was buzzing with a different energy. She went straight into the bathroom to start getting ready. The reason for her excitement was a secret they had carried from Vietnam. There, they had met 2 charming, fun-loving Brazilian men. They'd hit it off, sharing laughs and stories, assuming their time together was a fleeting holiday romance. But in an incredible twist of fate, they discovered the Brazilians were also heading to Koh Phi Phi Island on the exact same day. It felt like destiny. The plan was to meet them on the beach that very night for a party under the stars. Noami felt a pang of her older sister instinct kick in. Their parents had been deeply worried about 2 young women traveling the world alone. Noami had made a promise. "Don't worry, I'll keep my eye on Audrey. I'll keep her safe." She felt the weight of that promise now. These guys seemed nice, but things were moving fast. In a moment of doubt, she picked up her phone to call her parents, to hear a familiar voice and perhaps assuage her own nerves. But Audrey emerged from the bathroom, her face concerned. "Stop! It's the middle of the night back home. You'll wake them, and then you'll have to explain everything about tonight. They'll just worry. Everything is fine." Noami hesitated, then put the phone down. Audrey was right. She pushed her apprehension aside. Tonight was for fun. She joined her sister in getting ready, the 2 of them laughing and dreaming of the night ahead. A few hours later, they found the 2 Brazilian men on the beach, right where they said they'd be. And each man was holding a large, colorful bucket, the kind a child would use to build a sandcastle. As they got closer, they saw the buckets were filled with ice and a mysterious liquid. "What are those?" Audrey asked, her curiosity piqued. The men grinned. "A special Thai cocktail. You can only get it here. It's amazing." Noami, ever cautious, held back. "What's in it?" The men just laughed. "Just try it. It'll make you feel great." Audrey, ever the free spirit, didn't need more convincing. She grabbed a bucket and took a long, enthusiastic drink. She lowered it, beamed at her sister, and said, "It's awesome. Loosen up, Noami." Seeing her sister's joy, seeing the men drinking from their own buckets, and noticing that practically every other tourist on the beach had one, Noami's defenses crumbled. She took the other bucket and sipped. The night began, and what a night it was. They danced under the stars with a DJ blasting music. They ran into the warm ocean for a midnight swim. They ate spicy local food from beach vendors. The sisters, each with their respective guy, stayed close enough to share smiles but got lost in their own worlds of music and laughter. They lost count of how many of those potent bucket drinks they consumed. By 1 a.m., exhaustion and the effects of the night finally hit Noami. Her guy suggested heading back to the hotel. She agreed, but first stumbled over to her sister, who was still dancing wildly. "Audrey, we're going back. Come with us," she yelled over the music. Audrey spun around, her face alight with joy. "No way. This is too much fun. We'll stay. We'll see you back at the room soon." It was unlike them to separate, but in that moment, surrounded by music and happiness, it felt safe. It felt okay. Noami gave a weary smile and a wave, then turned and walked back to the hotel with her companion. At 4 a.m., the hotel's security cameras captured Audrey returning to the room with the second Brazilian man. For 2 hours, the four of them were together in that small, air-conditioned room. And at 6 a.m., the camera saw the two men leave together. They walked out, got on a pre-booked flight, and left Thailand. Behind them, they left a silent hotel room. For the next 3 days, housekeeping knocked on the door and received no answer. They assumed the guests had checked out early. But on the evening of June 15th, a staff member needed to enter the room to prepare it for new guests. They unlocked the door, took a single step inside, and a moment later came running back out, their screams echoing down the hallway. Police, led by Lieutenant Colonel Ratsamboon, were called. What they found was a scene of utter horror. Noami and Audrey were each in their own bed, tucked under the sheets as if asleep, but they were perfectly still, surrounded by pools of vomit. Closer inspection revealed something even more chilling: dried blood crusted on their gums and under their fingernails. The Thai police's first theory was alcohol poisoning from the infamous bucket drinks. Their investigation led them to the two Brazilian men, who were tracked down in Brazil by Interpol. The men were shocked by the news. They admitted they too had fallen violently ill for days after that night, plagued by vomiting, but insisted the girls had been basically fine when they left at 6 a.m. With the men corroborating the story of the buckets, the police settled on a verdict: accidental death from DEET poisoning, a toxic ingredient sometimes mixed into the drinks. The theory was that this particular batch was far too strong. The girls' bodies were sent back to Canada to their devastated parents with this official explanation. But for the Belanger family, the explanation was a salt in a deep, festering wound. They had learned of their daughters' deaths from media reports, not a compassionate official call. The official story felt lazy, a convenient conclusion that protected Thailand's tourist economy. Why would a commonly consumed drink kill two healthy young women, but only make the two men sick? It didn't add up. Furious and heartbroken, they demanded answers. The Canadian government listened and ordered a second autopsy by a leading Quebec coroner, René Roussel. Dr. Roussel confirmed there was DEET in their systems, but not enough to kill them. Puzzled, she launched her own investigation, digging into other mysterious tourist deaths in Thailand. Her findings were terrifying. She discovered that between 2009 and 2015, at least 20 other young, healthy tourists had been found dead in exactly the same way, in their hotel beds, surrounded by vomit, with blood on their gums and under their nails. The common denominator was never food or drink. It was something else. Dr. Roussel had a horrifying breakthrough. She realized the poison was something that attacked the blood vessels, hence the bleeding, but metabolized so quickly it became undetectable after death. And then she remembered one small, heartbreaking detail from the sisters' last night alive. Noami had pulled back the sheets to check for bed bugs. She found none. The sheets were pristine. And they were pristine because the hotel had just treated them. But they hadn't washed them. They had sprayed them with a highly toxic, illegal pesticide called phosphine gas to kill any bugs. The tragic truth unfolded. When the two couples returned to that room, they didn't know they were breathing in and absorbing a lethal nerve agent through their skin. The four of them were being slowly poisoned as they slept. The two Brazilian men left after a few hours of exposure. It made them violently ill, but they survived. Noami and Audrey Belanger never left. They stayed in those toxic beds, their bodies soaking in the poison for hours until their organs shut down. The very act of seeking rest and safety in a clean bed is what killed them. The most cruel irony of all is that Noami's last responsible act as a big sister was to check that the bed was safe. It was that final, caring gesture that sealed their fate. To this day, despite knowing the horrifying truth, no one has ever been held accountable for the deaths of Noami and Audrey Belanger. Their story is a dark reminder that sometimes the greatest dangers are the ones we never see, hiding in the most innocent places. Here at Life in Frames, we put our best efforts into bringing you the most captivating and thoroughly researched crime stories from around the world. If this story moved you, please show your support. It helps us more than you know. Like this video, click the bell icon to turn on all notifications so you never miss a story, and share it with your friends to help keep the memory of Noami and Audrey alive. Thank you for watching. Remember to hug your loved ones tight tonight. Until next time.